I still remember the first time I saw her. Her hair swinging, her hips swaying. Oh boy, did she make it hard for a guy to focus.
Mama always said I wasn't just a pretty face. I need to be able to make my own money so no man could do me like my father did her. So when I went to college, my goal was an MBA. Not necessarily an MRS.
Daddy's told me this story so many times, I could say it in my sleep. It all started when Mama walked past him in Accounting 101, and when the professor asked a question, Mom's hand was the first one raised. Dad was so in awe by her beauty and brains that after class he raced to the front just to ask for her number. Even though she politely declined, he had already
fallen in love. I was on a mission to be a partner at an accounting firm. I didn't have time for a relationship. When my mom was in college, she fell in love and got pregnant with me and had to drop out, while my father conveniently dropped out of our lives. No way was I trying to do a remake of that movie.
Daddy swears he was a smooth operator, wooing Mama with love letters and cassette tapes with babyface songs and sweet potato pie. Dad says even though it took her a while, she just could not resist his charm.
But Dad had told me that when I met the one, I'd have to bring my A game. And given that he'd been married for 25 years at that time, I thought I'd better take his advice. So before she'd finished her internship at Deloitte, we were shopping for rings.
I tried to resist. Oh, but Mike was so persistent. I couldn't help falling in love with him. We were so in love, we had to see each other every day. But every night, I had to study because I had to keep my 4.0 GPA. And I don't know how we did it, but we made it to graduation before we made it to the altar. And I made him promise me that I'd be able to get my MBA before we started having kids. The early years were smooth and sweet.
Just like that sweet potato pie I made for her in undergrad. And while she's getting her MBA, she'd swing by the office, we'd go for picnic lunches and midnight movies, and then after Talia was born, it felt like all I got was the burnt crust. Yeah, she was so busy trying to break through that glass ceiling, all that was left for me was the childcare and the cooking and the cleaning.
On weekends, Mom was there to take me to recitals and tournaments, but during the week, Daddy and I, we were a team. He took me to piano and tennis lessons, made sure I did my homework, and he even taught me how to make that sweet potato pie, our family's favorite.
Most
many
nights
nights, we'd wait for her to come
home for dinner.
Dinner was already cold by the time I got home. I was on a partner track. And I thought Mike should have been proud of me, but all he did was complain about how late I was getting home every night. But when he stopped griping so much, I just thought that maybe he was starting to be a little bit more understanding.
You know, my parents made it look so easy. I mean, I knew that marriage would take some work, but I didn't think it would be this much of a struggle. Dad told me, look, if you take care of Tina, she'll take care of you. But, oh, that's not how it was. I thought eventually she'd turn it around and things would end up back the way they were.
I started to see my parents change. They stopped watching TV together. Dad started going away on the weekends with the guys. And yeah, Mama came home earlier, but her laptop was never too far away.
You know, I tried to be understanding. I wanted to give her space. I tried to block out that constant voice in my head. And then she called for like the 1,000th time. I'm not going to make it home for dinner again. That was it. I was through trying to meet her expectations and get nothing in return but a little bit of loving.
I never saw this coming. I mean, I just thought things would eventually just work themselves out. I mean, I thought that Mike understood my goals and that we had a plan, and I thought that we were a team and that he supported me. But most of all, I thought Mike truly loved me.
So now, I have 2 bedrooms, 2 Christmases, 2 sets of friends, 1 therapist, and no reason to bake. The sweet potato pie doesn't even taste the same anymore.
My dad called me the other day and said, "Is this what you expected?" Yeah, I mean, I hated the fact that Tina took me for granted, but I loved her. I just wish sometimes that we could go back and do things differently.
I worked so hard to get it all. I just never thought that I'd lose it all.
I've listened to my parents' love story for most of my life, and I never thought it would end like this. But through this whole situation, I've learned that a true love story is non-existent without the commitment.